Alright, what is up guys, it's first Shadow back for another JJKPhantomparade video. So a lot of characters in Recollection bits got buffed, some announcements and also on the wiki. We're gonna go over them real quick here guys. Also be sure to check out the crazy news video that I just dropped. Might be a little bit late though when it gets uploaded, but oh well, this video ended up being a little bit longer than I thought it would be. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll see you later. Apparently some Recollection bits and characters got buffed. Now I was wondering for a little bit if this was like a global first thing or JP had this. No, JP already had this. We're just getting them kind of like following JP's timeline a bit, at least in terms of like these characters getting buffs down the line, which us, we know, now it's our turn to get the buffs, which looks like they're going to be happening, relatively soon. Basically next week, when all the big stuff happens on December 3rd here. So, Pride Recollection bit. Now, some of these are SSR. I think one might be SR, and then one or two might be SR, and then one of these is a rare. So, let's look at the first one here, right? So, Pride. The effect duration of the Recollection skill is set to 8 turns. So, if we look at Pride here, I think this is going to take a while because there's like a lot to go through here. Let's see. Pride. I have pulled up here. Here we go. Pride. So, let's see. Honestly, I might also just use the website here and just take a look quick, like, in game. Just because you can actually go maybe a little more detail. Anyways, here. So, this is what we got going on, right? Due to damage and then post. Because luckily, they do have the. This is how I was able to tell the JP already got it. Because they did mention the post adjustment here, which is the buffs. So basically, it switches increases own duty damage by 55% for 2 times, which now lasts for 8 turns. 2 times. 8 turns, but you can only use the skill 2 times, I guess, is what that's trying to say. Let's see, what's the next one here? We got Rock Solid Formation. Rock Solid Formation, that's gonna be this one. Now, I was trying to look for this one on the wiki here, but it took me a hot minute because I didn't realize they had the names different, which is a little annoying, but I was able to look in game and then it had the name as a notice, so it's this one, guys. So if you're wondering which one is Strong Rock Formation or Rock Solid Formation, it's Strong lineup here on the wiki. And then basically in the in-game notice, basically what it's saying is that the effect duration of the Recollection is set to 7 turns. Even if draw attack is nullified due to automatic skills related to disruption, immobilization, and counterattack, it will now consume a draw attack effect count. So going back to the wiki here, basically what it says is that when a command skill is activated, grants taunt status to self and increases own damage received. And then basically the post adjustment means that it's going to be lasting 7 turns for 2 times, and then I guess the damage reduction gets buffed a bit. Yeah, so I think a lot of these are just adding like an extra detail, like, oh yeah, this is how long the skill's supposed to last for, in terms of like, so like it says 2 times, but I'm guessing it's like, oh, if you don't activate that effect, like for the Jogo one, right, for the Pride one here, I'm guessing since how it says increases own damage 8 turns 2 times, I'm guessing what is this? So say you're in a stage, right, and everybody attacks, but then before the character you activate this Recollection bit on, before they attack, all enemies are wiped. So you still have the 2 times, but then the 8 turns become 7 turns is what I'm assuming. Is what this is basically saying. So I'm assuming this is either like a bug fix or just a clarification, like, oh yeah, this is how many turns you got to use your effect if it didn't get used already. And then also didn't mention in the notice that certain effects will count to the taunt effect as well, which is interesting. And then Educator, same thing, now set to 6 turns. If you guys are wondering about that one's going to go ahead and be this rare Recollection bit here, which basically decreases own duty damage received. Nothing that crazy, also not that good. It's also an R. But yeah, it basically just puts like a limit on it, or like lets you know like how many turns you can use this for. And then last one, we have Unity from the top to bottom, which I think is pretty good actually, as a support. Basically what it does is the effect of the auto skill is now changed to, even if this attack causes the target to break, it will trigger the auto skill once. So if we go onto the website here, the effect increases all old skill damage charge rate, and the post adjustment now, it's talking about the passive here. If you get 1 deep into it. So the selected enemy is in break status when attacking, fills own gauge by 200%, and then in the in-game notice it was saying how if this attack causes the target to break, you'll still get the 200 skill gauge, basically what it's trying to say, I'm pretty sure. So just like some extra clarification issues, nothing too crazy. I think the characters did get buffed though, but I think from what it looks like for the Recollection bits, it looks like it's more so based on, oh hey, these characters or these Recollection bits are just getting a little more information, so like, oh, this is how many turns I have for this skill, or other things like that, or like this certain effect can activate the Recollection bit passive or something like that, is what it looks like. So let's start looking at characters here. Do this. Alright, the first character we got here, we got Megumi. This is the blue one. Let me see if it shows like that information. Alright, so Megumi, the blue Megumi, right? So pre-adjustment, blue Megumi, if we look at the field also real quick, he is situated around C tier, not that great. I'm assuming even with the buffs, he's still not that great either way. But anyways, let's look at what he does, right? Let's look at what he does. So first skill, 100% taijutsu damage to suck the enemy, and then if Divine Dog Vitality is activated, or is active, increases own break damage by 20% for one time, and then deals 140 damage to select the enemy. So then his buff basically increases the break damage by an extra 20%. Is that the same thing on the wiki? Or not the wiki, on the in-game? Yeah, and then it just mentions that he does a little bit more damage. So we can probably just look here. It should be about the same. If not, I'll just double check in the in-game as well, just to see if there's anything like, different there. Alright, let's see. So second skill, deals 80% jutsu damage to select the enemy, and then stuns to select the enemy with a 60% chance, and then if you go to 10, 98, it'll wheel it on 100, and then more damage as well with the whole dog effect. And then if you with the new buff skill, we now get more break damage, and it looks like it's about it. Let me check in game as well. In game, it looks like it's the same. Yeah, it's literally just more break damage and then a bit more base damage for the actual skill here. And then the max elephant here, basically just more damage, so 215, and then extra 20, or 20, it's like 15. Yeah, so it's like an extra like 10% more damage for the max elephant, and the ult also gets a buff here as well. So from here, we're getting more break damage. So all Megumi is getting here really is just 20%. More break damage, 15 more damage to his AoE skill on skill 3, and then he decreases his own damage received by 20%. I'll do buff as well for his ultimate, and then overall it's literally just more damage. His ultimate does get buffed a bit more though for the damage, which is nice. That's like about an extra 101 or something. No, actually no, it's a little bit more than that. It's more like 139, 140, something like that. Extra damage, but yeah, it's not too bad, I guess. It's still not worth using, but not too bad. And then deals 1000 just like the enemy. So yeah, so he does get like buffed with the ultimate to damage, but main thing is just break damage being buffed here. Nothing that crazy. He does get a buffed auto skill as well, which just decreases his damage by an extra 10%. So overall, nothing too crazy here, guys. I mean, if he's the only character you got, I guess he's okay to build, but overall, not really worth it. Just like some okay buffs. Let's see, Maki's next on the list here. So if we take a look at Maki here, Megumi, come for you to step aside. Alright, Maki here. So posted judgment, is it only, because it mentions only like one thing in the in-game. So it looks like Maki does not get any other, okay, so it's just auto skill then, okay. So I guess they just left this up here on the wiki just in case she was get a buff, but I guess she didn't. So it's just the auto skill that gets the buff. So her main auto skill, right, pre-buff, increases own taijutsu damage by 7%, and then her buff gets her an extra 8% more taijutsu damage. So she does like a little bit more damage overall at the start of battle, which I mean I guess that's fine. But like same thing, nothing that crazy, just like a minor buff here. Overall, nothing too crazy. We get a buff to Panda here, which looks to be pretty good. I'll show you guys in a second here. So Panda, his curse energy has got changed to lower numbers here, which is good. So that means he should be able to activate, not sooner, but like more often basically. He should be able to activate these skills a lot more often because of the curse skill requirements being lowered. What do you need? So we look on the wiki as well. I shouldn't mention it maybe? Yeah, literally just says right here. Yeah, so basically Panda just gets, he requires less energy to activate his skills, which is nice. So skills still do the same thing, they just require less curse energy to activate, which is good. And then is there anything else? They got buffed. His ultimate skill also got buffed as well. Okay, so if we look in the wiki. So his ultimate skill activates gorilla mode status and he increases his own physical damage by 20%. He's not able to fill ult gauge and removes all decreasing damage effects from himself, so he can't resist damage as easily, and then increases his own break damage by 20%, and then he does more physical damage to select the enemy. With his buff, he just gets to go, actually yeah, it's a very significant boost, so he gets a significant increase to his physical damage. So at level 10 pre-buff, it's only 38, almost 40%, and then with his buff, he gets almost 100% with his physical damage increase. So that's actually a pretty good buff. He's going to do a lot more damage, which is nice. But his actual ult damage still stays the same. He just gets a bigger buff for his physical damage. I mean, yeah, not that crazy. It's fine, but not that crazy. I think that's it, right? Just the ult is what he got, like an ult buff. Yeah, or the ult, passive buff getting buff. And double the buff, huh? And then it looks like Jogo also gets buffed here as well. We take a look at Jogo. Alright, what are we cooking up here with Jogo? So let's see. Basically his skills got buffed. So let's see, melee and so it's like very like Yuta based with physical and Jujutsu. His buff basically just increases the numbers for both, where his taijutsu does less, but his Jutsu does more, but both get increased, so they do more damage. And then let's see, same thing on the goose. Oh wait, this is different. Oh, interesting. Okay. So it looks like his skill 2 got changed. So his skill 2 worked like his skill 1. Actually, yeah, it was literally just the same, just bigger numbers. However, his buff now changes that only to jutsu damage to one enemy, but it's like way more significant damage. So we look in game just to double check to make sure this is like a now buff, not like a later buff. Hellfire, yeah, it's literally the same. Okay, yeah, so that's the same. And then what else do we have here? I'm just guessing this is the third skill. All right, so the third skill also got buffed. So his third skill, max level 10. Deals 148.9 range jutsu damage on one enemy, so basically what a skill 2 does now in the buff version, less damage. Well, then again, it does say, 3 times, yeah, so yeah, like about the same. But now his buff skill, bigger numbers basically, just bigger numbers, like an extra 50-ish or so %. So he just does more damage basically with the skill 3. Okay, not that crazy. And I'm pretty sure his ult also got buffed, right? Yeah, his ult also got buffed. This is what his ult does. So on max, you deal about 600% range to damage to all enemies entering your domain, which increases your crit, own damage, reduces damage received, recovers own crit energy, but then you can't throw your ult anymore. So we look at the buff version, we get just more AoE damage. More AoE flame damage to enemies by like 6% or 50%, something like that, yeah. I mean, I guess that's fine. That's not that crazy. It's not that crazy. I mean, Jogo overall, like, if we look at the tiers, right? Where is he? He's, I know he's not that high. I'm blind, guys. There he is. Yeah, E tier. Yeah, he's not that crazy. He's literally the same tier as the Green Story. Not that crazy. Like, he's not bad, but he's, like, also not that crazy either. So, I mean, it's a nice buff, but overall, not super crazy, not super like, oh my gosh, right? Next character is Hanami here, so let me just double check the game. Let's see, so yeah, we went through all of that. Oh, also, I should have mentioned that. Oh, I guess I'll mention it here. So his passive is like self auto skill, they get buff as well. So before his self HP is when his if self HP is no more than 50%, normally used once in battle, he gets 25 curse technique buff, and then now his buff version of that basically increases that to 50%, which is actually that's pretty good. An extra 50% buff, curse technique buff to self when you have 50% or less HP. It's not too bad, that's actually pretty good. And then his cursing talent. Before, when a wave starts, recovers 10 curse energy for self. But now his buff version, if self's curse energy is no more than 10, so I'm guessing so it's like 10 and less, and can only use 3 times in battle, you get an extra 10. So I'm guessing if it's like you have 9, right, you get 10, so that makes it 19. So you can only do that 3 times in battle. Okay. I mean, I guess that's fine. It kind of helps them do more curse stuff, or get more curse energy a little faster. Yeah, Hanami is next. So we take a look at Hanami here, right? Overall, let's see. So, first skill here, 100 range jutsu damage to one enemy, 2 hits, which is kind of nice. The higher the enemy's ult gauge scale is, the greater the damage. Okay, buff still in there. The left version, you do more damage. Okay, and then the effect here, the passive effect on the skill, that basing on how high the ult gauge is on the enemy got increased. So basically he does like more damage in two parts of the skill there. Actually, if I'm not correctly, if you look at the tier list guys too, he's actually pretty high up. Yeah, he's S tier, so way better than Jogo. I'd say you want away from Mahito, but he's also like pretty up there, you know? So something to think about. Alright, so skill 2. So he does 346 range jutsu damage to select enemy. So now his buff version basically just does like an extra 100-ish or so more damage. So not too bad, just more damage there. Skill 3. Increases all enemies' damage by 19 points, but then if you max out 33 for 2 turns, which I guess is fine, so you don't take damage, but nothing too crazy. However, he does increase his own ult skill gauge charge rate by 86 for 3 turns as well, which honestly is kind of good. He gets ult bit faster. And then his buff version just decreases this skill required for the curse energy required for this by like -5. So like a very like minor buff on this one. Just to like be able to use the skill a bit faster. Okay, and then it looks like his ult got buffed as well. So his base ult does almost 1,000 damage, 4 hits, which should actually do like 1,000 damage or more. He also does a domain expansion, and then grants guaranteed hit effect and attack. So basically, you should be able to hit like someone like Gojo. You should be able to basically hit him. Is what I'm assuming this is. I think also when you fight Hanami in the story, I think he is able to hit Gojo during that fight. And then he increases all enemies damage by, so then also like an attack down debuff for the enemies, and then unable to kill all of this. Okay. I mean, as a domain expansion overall, this one isn't too bad. Jogo's just a little bit better because it does buff his damage more, but this one's like not too bad. The grant's guaranteed hit effect and attack immunity notification itself is kind of good, especially the attack immunity notification. That is pretty nice. So now his buff version, really? Does not get buff? Oh, let me check in game just to make sure. right about this. Oh yeah, so his ult does not get buffed. Okay, but his auto skill does get buffed. His auto skill at the start of the turn recovers 13 HP every turn, and then his other one does at the start of each wave recovers own curse energy by 10. His buff version now grants an extra effect to the second effect, which basically recovers own curse energy up by 20 if your energy is 10 or low or less, only 2 times though. And then you get reduced damage taken at the start of battle by 20%. Actually, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So basically, he can tank a little bit easier in the first turn, and then he can get his curse energy up a little bit faster as well. So overall, not too bad as well. Not too bad for Hanami. Alrighty, and then I think we got that it? Oh, we got Nanami and then Mai here. This Nanami is SSR version, a green one. Basically, on his what is it? It doesn't really say, it doesn't have a before or after here. Let me check on the wiki here if it has any extra information. Let's see, unchanged. Okay, so skill 3 is the one. Oh, okay. So skill 3 and then his ult up what it looks like. They just forgot to put the before and after for some reason. I guess maybe it didn't matter. Yeah, so basically, if we look at it here, you know, that's what he does, you know, melee and jutsu damage. Skill 3, 4 hit, 200 on both, basically 211 I should say. You know, buff ability or whatever. When critical hit or black flash is performed, which is kind of identical, almost, increases damage though. So basically whenever he gets a crit off or black flash, he just does more damage on this skill. Which I mean, I guess is fine. We don't really see how much more damage, but it just does more damage on it, so nothing that crazy. His ult will get buffed though. So his ult does ranged combined damage equal to 477, so basically what Jutsu does. Taijutsu, physical and jutsu, 8 hits, and then his buff ult does the same thing. Whenever he does a crit, he does more damage. So basically, if you use the fuck ton out of like his skill 2, increasing his like crit hit rate by like a bunch, because you can stack this, he's gonna be guaranteed a hit or guaranteed a crit, and then you get this extra damage bonus here with his ult. So that's nice. And then is that it looks like that's it for him. Okay. And then there's one more character here. We got Mai, which is an SR character, and Saki Rendo, who I think is also another SR character. But you guys aren't really gonna use these SR characters because they aren't that crazy. If you look at the tier list, where's Mai ranked at? The SR one. I think she's damaged, no? Yeah, so she's C tier for damage, same thing as Maki, which is kind of funny. Both sisters, but they're both not that great. And then Saki's the green character, blonde chick. Where's she again? Oh, B tier. Oh, my bad. I thought she was green. I should put yellow. But yeah, she's B tier as well. Not that crazy. But we'll still look at what they do, regardless. Let's see. So yeah, we took a look at Nanami, and then we got Mai here. So Mai, she does first skill 112 range taijutsu damage, so physical damage, which makes sense because you know physical damage. Skill 1 time a buff. Skill 2 does though. So you get a buff. So you get conceal, so you can't be targeted for 2 turns, and then you increase your own physical damage by 157%. 2 turns, 1 time. Okay. So it lasts for 2 turns, but if you attack with it, you're gonna lose the extra buff there. And the buff version increases it by it just increases it by a turn. And it looks like there's no like time, so it's like there's no limit to how many times so basically you could like attack like 3 times or whatever, and it's not gonna go away basically. At least until the turns run out, right? So it's gonna work like every other buff skill, like Yaga's buff skill or like Gojo's buff skill, where it'll still be there until the turns drop basically. So there's like no like limit on how many skills you can use basically. And then her third skill to get buff, so she does 324 at level 10 range taijutsu damage to strike the enemy 3 times, and then she has a 50% chance to stun the enemy. Her buff version now does basically almost 100% chance to stun, and that's it. So basically just a higher chance to stun, which is nice because stun is pretty useful in this game. Granted, we have literally the R version of, fuck, I always forget his name, Benito Flex, the dude who like speaks to do his like energy and stuff. I think I can pull him up here maybe. I think he'd be support, right? Yeah, Toge. I always forget his name. Yeah, Toge. He's like the best one to use because of like how low his requirement is to like get the stun off or like the curse energy. So he's still like number 1 best to go for. But we got another stun character as an option here as well, which is cool. And then her ult did not get buffed. What about her auto skill? Her auto skill did get buffed. She just has a higher chance of being taijutsu damage to like the enemy as a follow-up attack. So her follow-up attack chance now gets increased by a significant amount, 70%, so there's a good chance she's going to do a lot more follow-up attacks if you guys do use it. Alright, last character here that got a buff, Saki Rendo, an SR character. Her buff's gonna looks like it's gonna be none of her skills. Her ult not buffed. Okay. So her ult deals melee combined, so what Yuto does, to a single enemy. The lower own HP is, the greater damage. So basically she's ready to die. She's gonna do a lot more damage with her ult. She does do more taijutsu than jutsu damage, but she still uses both. And then her buff is basically increasing that damage the lower her HP is by even more than that. Alright guys, I just had to monitor real quick. just to refresh myself. Going back to everything. So yeah, we got some buffs going on with some of the recollection, or with some of the characters. We got some more context for some of the recollection bits for how long they can last, and then we got some crazy banners coming up as well in a couple days here. Also, something to keep in mind, Battle Pass is ending soon, so if you guys didn't want to buy that, you might want to check it out, because we're getting a new one for December. So something to keep in mind. It should be about the same as like every other Battle Pass, where you get some cubes, tickets, stuff like that. So it looks like December 1st. So it looks like you guys have, oh, I think by now actually, I think by now it might actually already be gone. By the time this video gets uploaded, because it says December 1st, so it might already be here. Yeah, you know, get some tickets, some more cubes and stuff, especially if you pay for it, get some extra resources. Alright guys, well, hope you guys enjoyed that video. You know, a lot of buffs, some just, you know, more context to some of the recollection bits and stuff. Nothing too crazy, but you know, it is what it is. Hopefully we see more things. Honestly, I did think it was like a global thing first, but then I did notice on the wiki that it did. You know, it was posted the buffs were already on GP, but we're just getting them now. Yeah, hopefully this video helps you guys out though. If it wasn't for them, cool. Make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe. Helps your boy out a lot. Hoping you know, grow over here, you know, on the gacha space and gaming space and overall in general. Yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Have a good night or day. I hope your summons go well. Take care guys. Peace.